Quick question. Anybody remember yesterday, the 2nd of May, 2024? Yes? No?
I'm not allowed to testify because this judge, who's totally conflicted, has me under an unconstitutional gag order. Nobody's ever had that before.
The gag order stop you from testifying?
No, it won't stop me from testifying. The gag order is not to testify. The gag order stops me from talking about people and responding when they say things about me. We have people saying things about me, and I'm not allowed to respond.
Go to you first. Let's button up what they were just talking about a few moments ago. We have Trump coming in yesterday saying, you know, because of this gag order, I can't testify. Apparently, a few moments ago, he cleaned that up, tried to clarify it. Let's play a little bit of what Trump said yesterday, talk about it on the other side, and then get into what the judge just said. Right.
Well, I'm not allowed to testify. I'm under a gag order, I guess. I can't even testify on that. No, we're going to be appealing the gag order. I'd love to answer that question. It's a very easy question, the easiest question so far. But I'm not allowed to testify because this judge, who's totally conflicted, has me under an unconstitutional gag order. Nobody's ever had that before, and we don't like it, and it's not fair.
Yeah, Allie, I like it when he turns to Todd Blanche, and Todd Blanche nods and shakes his head no. Not knowing what to say. I guess some lies have to be cleaned up, and that's what he did this morning. And then the judge just a few moments ago said, no, you do have the right to testify.
Of course.
The gag order has nothing to do with it.
Good gracious. The statement by Donald Trump is so outrageous, so off base, it's hard to know where to begin. But the gag order has nothing to do, 0.0 to do with Donald Trump's ability to testify. He has the right to testify. He has the right not to testify. There will be no limits on that right. And by the way, the gag order, let's just understand, because I always think the name gag order is overly suggestive. Gag suggests you can't talk at all. He can say almost anything he wants. He just has to.
And just remember, while all of this is going on, the head of, I think she's head of finance or head of pocketing the money, Lara Trump is busy at the piano. Anyway, back to the case in hand. Trump's falling asleep again. It's Friday. Wake up!
And the prosecution requested a 5-minute break here to decide whether they're going to try to do redirect examination. And Davidson's testimony so far, some really crucial moments, both on direct and in these recent moments in cross. He says these deals were crafted in the weeks before the 2016 election, and he said that he never had any interaction with Trump directly. Phil Mattingly and Paula Reed are back with me. So, Paula, as I said, they just asked for a 5-minute break, and you said this is a 5-minute break where you sit down and go, OMG, we need to clean up on aisle 5?
Yeah, they do. I mean, this was incredibly effective cross-examination, largely because the prosecution did not themselves bring up a lot of Davidson's other dealings, deals that he brokered from clients, for clients who got money from, for example, Charlie Sheen, or going to try to get money from Hulk Hogan in exchange for a sex tape, something where some of his interactions were monitored by the authorities. They did incredibly damaging things that raised questions about whether Davidson was indeed in the business of extortion.
Interesting. Trump, so they're back in. Keith Davidson's back on the stand.
This is big.
But Trump glanced at the Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as he walked in. So he hasn't been in yet, has he? He wasn't there the other day when I was there.
You're exactly right. So this is fascinating. Alvin Bragg of it all. This is the district attorney who oversees this case, but he has taken a very low profile here. When we had the civil case just a few blocks away, the Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, she talked to the microphones every single day, often responded to Trump on social media. Alvin Bragg is deliberately taking an extremely different approach. He is not often in the court. You never hear from him. Even in his few media appearances, he has not answered questions recently about this case. So the fact that he's in court today, that's really interesting, especially because they got killed on cross. So this is fascinating.
But they get killed, so it means he's not far away. Maybe he was in that room waiting and saying, I'm going to oversee the cleanup.
Oh, well, the gag order here, I think we should treat Trump like everyone else. You know, the thing is, judges have bent over backwards to treat him differently, to give him deference, because judges don't want to be seen as political. And even though Michael Cohen can give as good as he gets, it's still very intimidating when a defendant can criticize a witness, it chills other witnesses. And I got to tell you, as a prosecutor, Jonathan, I've never seen a defendant act like this and get away with it. Any other defendant in his situation would be wearing a pair of steel bracelets by now.
Yeah, I mean, the $1,000 fine per violation, obviously not going to put too much of a dent in Donald Trump's wallet. But it's about setting a marker, right? Saying, like, look, we are going to treat you like everyone else. But, Dave, what would have to happen for those violations to really escalate to the point where it could even be potentially a night or two in jail? And we should note that Trump has seemingly toned down some of the rhetoric since the fines came down.
I don't think he'll ever serve any time in jail pre-trial. I think it's possible he gets sent to timeout. There is like a little holding area in the courthouse. But he'd have to really attack the jurors. I think that is the bright line. It's one thing to attack witnesses. That's bad enough, especially if it's not Michael Cohen. But when you attack jurors who are not public figures, who didn't sign up for this, they just signed up to do their civic duty, I think that's where the judge is going to draw the line. And if he continues to do that, that could lead to perhaps a timeout, but don't anticipate him wearing an orange jumpsuit anytime soon.
Just the orange hair. We'll have to be satisfied with
Don't
that.
match a jumpsuit.
Just the orange hair. So, all right, so you brought up an interesting point. In cases where you have a defendant, in this case, you have a client who wants his lawyers to do a certain thing and perform. There are no cameras, however, and are they hurting his case by trying by acting as Trump wants them to do in that courtroom where it's not about the court of public opinion, it's about the opinion of the 12 jurors? I mean, do those antics hurt him? Are they, by appeasing their client, are they hurting their case?
It could, because what they're doing is saying, Davidson, you're a sleazebag, your clients are sleazebags. Look at the people you hang around with. But Trump was part of that group, too.
Yeah.
Michael Cohen, who he's trying to tar, Davidson, Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, David Pecker. And now, it was such an interesting moment yesterday when his own lawyers, Trump's own lawyers, put Trump in the same category as Hulk Hogan and Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, and Tila Tequila.
Lindsay Lohan does not deserve that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, these are not exactly Nobel laureates, right? This is the presumptive Republican nominee for president being put in the same category as, like, Tila Tequila. I mean, it's just the bizarre world we're living in.
Yeah.
So, Dave, there's speculation that could be as soon as today, Hope Hicks will take the stand. She, of course, was one of the original Trump campaign aides dating all the way back to 2015, and then she spent a few years in the White House as well. A big name. How significant might her testimony be?
I think it's huge, because it's one thing to bash Michael Cohen for his bias. Really, Cohen and Trump hate each other. We understand that. It's another thing to bash David Pecker because he has entered into a non-prosecution agreement. He has an incentive to cooperate. But Hope Hicks is a Trump loyalist. Hope Hicks rode on Air Force One with Trump, steaming Trump's clothes while Trump was still wearing them. She is someone on the inside who has no axe to grind here with Donald Trump, and she is apparently cooperating. She cooperated with the grand jury, and even though previously when she testified before Congress, she seemed to say that she didn't know anything about it, well, apparently she does, and I think that's going to provide much-needed corroboration for Michael Cohen, who is the key witness here, but he's flawed because of his prior convictions. That's why you need corroboration.
State Attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida, Dave Ehrenberg, thank you for the analysis this morning.
He's nervous.
What'd you do?
On Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, Donald Trump entered a Manhattan courtroom and pled not guilty to 34 crimes.
Squash it.
Fucking movie star. You're a fucking movie star.
Tick, tick, tick.